Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Today's the very first day of the month, February 1st, a Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. You know what? The economy is going to be everything on which side's going to win this next election in the United States, I think. I think one of the biggest issues is going to be the economy. And so the Fed is in a tightening schedule right now, and they're at pretty much at the peak of the climax of where they can go with this. But let's take a look here. It says that Fed Chief Jerome Powell says a March rate cut is not likely. So they're going to hold the line. I'm going to tell you guys what. If they do hold this line, we're going to have some sort of a crisis that's coming up where I just can't tell you exactly. I think it's probably going to be in the banking sector. It's probably going to have to do with commercial real estate, the housing market, and a few other extenuating circumstances, the debt market, etc. But I think we're going to have some sort of a crisis. It could affect the markets as well. And it could be an awful lot of jobs lost. A sudden decline. And it's because we always have a delayed reaction. Whenever the Fed goes through a tightening cycle or something, or they go through loose monetary policy, there's generally a number of months of a delayed reaction. So they hit this delayed reaction and the economy turns sour just in time for the election. You know, here in Canada, it's the same way. It's in the United States. It's like a pendulum. The people out there, they go through 4 years of the political structure of whatever party's in office. Here in Canada, it works the same way. You know, they go through about 4 years of up here we have the a little bit. It's a little bit different, but it's very similar. Two main political parties, you know. One's left and one's right, you know. And up here, I think they can call them a little bit different, like the Tories and stuff. You know, a little bit different in the United States. In the United States, they have the Democrats and Republicans. But what I'm saying is it's kind of like a pendulum. Swings back and forth. The people get dissatisfied after about 4 years, and their tendency is to try get something new, something better. But then they end up going right back to what they were dissatisfied 4 years earlier with. So you got that. And so in order to keep the people satisfied so they'll vote for you, you've got to have the economy going along good. That's one of the biggest issues. People don't like it when they got too much inflation, or they're losing jobs, or they're having to cut back because prices are getting too high and their wages aren't going up and stuff like that. And that's all caused, for the most part, being caused by the Fed and their tightening policy. But what they're basically telling you here is, hey, we ain't going to release nothing until March or later. And so how's the markets going to keep responding to this? And also it's putting the pressure on these bankings because they're doing away with the bank term funding program. Oh boy, in March, I can see it. It all comes due. What the Fed's done with this rapid rate hike cycle that they've been in and quantitative tightening, I think it's all going to come due in March. And that's when we're going to get the effect. It's been delayed. Well, when that effect is over, how is that going to affect the polls? I think so this is, depending on what the Fed does here, has got an awful lot to do with the election. Probably as much, if not more, than anything else, you know, out there. Taking a look... this is what I'm saying. This is the edge of the blade right here. It's already starting. The Japan's Azora Bank is going to implode on massive U.S. Commercial real estate exposure. You think a lot of these other banks... Now, this is just the first one. You think an awful lot of these other banks aren't exposed to exactly the same thing. Japan's Azora Bank slashed the value from some of its U.S. office tower loans by more than 50%. They lost 50% of their money, basically. This is in stark contrast to its earlier projection of 24 billion yen profit. See, we're talking yen, not dollars, but yen transfers into dollars. So this is we're talking about large amounts of money here. And but this is going to spread. This is going to be a contagion within the system, I think, especially when housing values haven't really fallen off yet, but they're going to. You know, and then there's the another market is the auto market. I already see the first signs of the big, huge, monster downturn in the auto market. And that's why you've seen all these repossessions and stuff as of late. And at the auctions, I've been watching shows on here. They're just coming in the news that the auto auctions, you know, they're not getting their bid. I mean, what I say is you know, they price a lowest bid before. It's not unreserved, these auto auctions, you know, and they bring the car through and these guys bid on it. Not just one auto auction, but these auto auctions down in the United States, and they're not getting their lowest bid. So they have to turn the car around and say, well, that bid's too low. The guy ain't going to take that bid. And it's over. They didn't get their bid. They didn't get their lowest bid. That's what's happening in the auto auctions now all across the United States, because it's just a flood of these repossessed cars coming in. People who can't pay. See, times were good. We had, back during the stimmy check period, you know, time, and people were getting unemployment, extra bonuses on their unemployment insurance and all this kind of stuff. And money was flowing through the economy because of fiscal stimulus. All that's been trimmed off and gone. You know? And so people did. They went out and some of them bought new cars and stuff. Said, hey, we got a bit of extra money in the bank. We go out and buy a new car. But suddenly their income stream just got snipped right off. And now they're struggling to make the payments, and the first thing you know, the repossessor shows up in the yard, and boy, those guys are sneaky. I used to know one when I lived down in Florida. I used to know a repossessor guy. You know, he had a black tow truck, and he used to creep in. He'd creep in the middle of the night, you know, very quiet, hitch her up, and then he'd go like hell. God, the vehicle. But you know, they didn't get as much work back in those days. Now they're just working steady. They can't get enough hours in the day to go out there and tow all these cars. And so that's why they're not getting their bid at the auto auctions. See? And the whole thing's starting to fall apart. Next it'll be the used car dealers can't sell their inventory. Anything that's used is like there's not enough buyers, and there's too many flooding in that need to be sold. And the price isn't going to meet. And it's going to work the same way in the housing market at a certain point. Not enough buyers, the first thing you know, somebody starts to drop the price, and then a bunch of other people start to drop the price, and then the bottom falls out of the real estate market. And all this coming in when the next election's coming in. What can I say? And here, look at this, guys. I've been seeing this. Purple skies. I've seen it a couple times now. Here in Nova Scotia. What they're showing you, purple sky hangs over southern Oregon on Wednesday morning. You see the difference in the contrast between a purple sky and a normal looking sky there? I've been seeing a few of these in the late evening here and noticing them here in Nova Scotia. What in the heck's going on? It's weird. Now the silver price today is $22.96 for silver, and we're seeing it's up 5 cents. But how can it be? Isn't it over $23 yesterday? It must have took a dip or something. Let's see, my viewers, some of them have been saying I want to check the price of gold. But how do I get it on here? It used to be easy. It used to be a way I could get the gold price here. Gold. Let's try that. Maybe it'll give me the gold price. No, they want to sell me gold. Well, what do they got here? You know, it looks like these are U.S. prices. So for an ounce of gold here, they want $21.46 for an ounce of gold. $21.36 for this coin right here. A gold maple leaf gold coin, U.S. $21.36 is prices. Anyway, that's the page they took me to. Of course, that's got the premium in there too, you know, that $21.36. So, yeah, probably about $100 premium, I would imagine. Cryptocurrency price today. Bitcoin is 42,544 or 547 now, Bitcoin. Ethereum is 2289. And we're looking at XRP at 50 cents again. Boy, it loves that 50 cents. I'll tell you, if you were to do a calculator and you took all the days that XRP has been close to 50 cents, it would be most of the time XRP has been up here for these last number of years. It's always around 50 cents. It loves 50 cents. Anyway, Dow Jones Industrial Average is 38,115. It's down 34 points on the day. If they love this precious market, they better release the tightening monetary policy pretty soon. I don't see it holding through the end of March without this market taking some sort of a downturn, seriously. And when they got the elections coming up, that's going to be a big factor. And so the Fed, you know, right now, they need to do it now before the downturn. If they wait until after the downturn, then it's gonna gain momentum to the deflationary side, deflationary momentum. You know, any kind of really downturn in the economy. So this recession's been delayed a little bit. It might strike in a vicious way. After it decides it's going to have it's what it's going to have. They're shooting for a recession. Oh, they might get it, and might get it in spades. You know? Taking a look at crude oil today, 76.70. So a absolute monster of a recession striking just around the same time as the elections, or a little bit sooner. It'd be very negative for the political party that's in power. Be very hard to get around that, and it would just add more fuel to the opposing side. And so, but you already, like I say, because the pendulum swings back and forth between the two political parties, I consider it that they already have a little bit of momentum just from that pendulum swing alone. You know, and so it's going to be an exciting year. There's an awful lot of instability, to say the least. I mean, I'm exaggerating. I mean, I am understating that instability. I mean, I hear talk and people talking about civil war, for crying out loud. You want to talk instability? Awful lot of instability, and more to come if the economy just goes down the tubes. And it's already, you know, it's just a supercharged moment in U.S. history coming right up, these elections. Supercharged with oh my gosh, get your popcorn. Oh my gosh, this is going to be really something. Now, we've seen a large fall in the yields of these bonds in the long end of the yield curve here. The U.S. 10 years fell 14.3 basis points. Now, that's a big day down, and it stands at 3.82, and the U.S. 30 years at 4.07, and it's 14 basis points down. That's a big drop. That would be consistent with really, really big buying. In other words, bull really bullish for bonds, this big buying. But I just can't help but think, are there really all these buyers out there that can make it move 15 points? Or is it somehow the Fed somehow twisting things, turning knobs, kind of like the Wizard of Oz, the old wizard back there turning the knobs behind the curtain. I just don't know, okay? Now, looking at the dollar index today, we're looking at 103.3, and the dollar's fallen today somewhat. Okay, the number indicators are in the green, but the dollar is falling right now, according to the chart. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. Push that little notification icon. Appreciate you guys watching my show, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.